Alright, there's our bees. They're kind of dancing around over there. But here's the garden. Now what we did with the garden is during the winter time we dumped quite a bit of cow manure from a dairy. We dumped it in here and we mixed it in our bed. Our bed's real nice this year. We've got corn on this side, all of it's corn, but in the middle here we planted some beans. We mixed them in between them. Yeah, that was my dog. He don't have any respect. But there's the right here we got our beans and our corn, and then over on this other side I planted some squash, and it's looking real good. I planted squash and beans. We kind of mixed them together. There's some beans, some squash. Second week of February. That's when we planted this garden. And no fertilizer. I'm just going to weed it here in the next week. But we just wanted to show you how progress is doing on these gardens with the mulch. Just old mulch. Horse manure from the horse stables mixed with cow manure, and this is like the third year on this garden. It's looking real well. Doing good. Alright, I'm going to show you some more gardens. Okay, this is an update on our white sweet potatoes. That last year we didn't pick this pal. I had to fence it in because the cows was in here eating all the tops off the sweet potatoes, but we left them in the ground. There's one showing right there. That's a white sweet potato. But we left them in the ground over the winter. We picked a lot of the big ones and left all the little ones. But this is the white sweet potato pal. If anybody's watched any of the old videos of the tire company project, when we started disting it up, when it was fields of grass and everything, then we changed it to the mulch pile stuff. This is what it's come out to be. We've got our mulch pile. We got a little road here, and we got our mulch pile over here. We just pile it up right here for the neighbors. And over here, these yellow flowers you see, it's mustard. And what we're going to do is we're letting it go to seed, and we're going to pull the pods off and put them in a brown paper sack and try to collect the seeds. We have noticed that the sweet potatoes, when they die, when the cold weather hits them, if you sprinkle your mustard seeds on top of your bed in little areas, especially if you're not going to harvest your potatoes, like we didn't harvest these. So my dogs are barking over there. They're running up and down the fence. They're having a blast. They won't shut up. But here's what they look like, the mustard seeds. Now on this bed right here, we left it. It's probably got about 2,000, 3,000 pounds of potatoes, maybe more out here. And we just left them through the winter. If you look, you can see them coming back up. What we're going to do is go through here and recover up some of these. But this whole bed is full. We had to stop the video because the dogs was barking too loud, so we shut them up a little bit here. But well, we decided to leave this bed to see what happened. We just left it and let it freeze over, and the wild mustard seeds from the year before popped up and did real well. So we know we can plant mustard seeds as soon as the potatoes or vines are dead. Now the other garden is over here. We planted I planted some white potatoes, like Irish potatoes, and I planted the whole potato. I didn't do a cutting. I planted the whole potato. So far, they've done real well. We went ahead and planted this whole area right here. And the white Irish potatoes, I guess is what you would call them, but some kind of white potato that you'd buy at the store. Then this is okra. This is our okra. And then I got squash, a little bit of squash over there, come up early. Now I'm going to video some more spots in here. This is one of the sweet potato piles that we planted in between some palmetto patches. We dug the dirt out of the pond and we put it here last year, and we left the potatoes right in the bed. There's probably at least a couple thousand pounds of potatoes in there, red potatoes. Got a little bit of whites. Right now we're working on mulching the rest of this area out here where the sand's at. Remember, there's a tire fire here. The tire fire was so hot it had to have burnt the nutrients out of the ground because it wouldn't grow nothing. So what we've done is put the wood chips on top, and then we're letting it rot. And as it rots, we found out that sweet potatoes plant real well, and it helps to break it down. See the sprouts coming up? These are all sprouts from last year's potatoes we left in the ground. It was planted just around October before the freeze, so they didn't get time to grow very much, but they survived. This area over here, what we did was we dumped fresh horse stable stuff that's come out of the horse stables. It's been around for a while, maybe 6 months. We've dumped it on the ground, leveled it out. Then I put the wood chips on the top. And I know it's not good to grow a regular garden, but it grows sweet potatoes real well. If you look at it, you'll see them sprouting up everywhere. They're all over here. We put potatoes in here, and we just planted them every 1 foot apart. Every 1 foot we laid a sweet potato from last year. We did it during the winter, and now that it's raining, the sweet potatoes are popping through from the bottom up through the mulch. So this will all be sweet potatoes before the year's up. We'll video it later on. We got sweet potatoes planted over there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk over to the garden over there on the other side over there. We've got some neighbors that's got their gardens in here with us. So all our neighbors is starting to join in on this property to grow some vegetables. I'll be back. Well, one of my neighbors has got a garden in his yard and he needed a little bit more property. He's joined in over here with us. We planted a sweet potato place for the guys. There's 2 guys, it's 2 families. One family's got this area right here. He's got a little bit of everything planted. Then he's got a sweet potato pile that they're going to share with each other. The other neighbor has this side. Yeah, and it's all looking good. They got some carrots. He's got some tomatoes. He's got a little bit of everything in here. I'll film some more of the other neighbors. There's another neighbor on the other end. I'll film that. Well, here's one of the neighbors that joined in. We put some compost over here, we mixed it in and we got it ready. We got some irrigation in here. We use these pipes, we just pump the water, and I'll show you where we pump the water from, but we just kind of flood irrigate. If you look, we've dug trenches and it just kind of floods it, soaks in. I'm going to video a little bit more, and we've been taking some of the mulch and we sift it on this here little thing here. We sift the heavy stuff out and take the light stuff, and we take the little stuff and we plant the plants in it. Kind of gives it a little bit smaller stuff to get its roots in. Here's our mulch pile where we came in and where we first started on the tire company video. We come in right here. The garden is out there. What we've done here is the water always runs down here and runs into the creek. We cowed it. We're catching it. It runs in through these rocks and it runs into this little pond here where we've got dug. When I get to the other side, I want to tell y'all a miracle from God that we don't understand, but we want to share it with you. We'll understand later. But we got a little pump up here. I'm going to show you where it's at. It pumps the water down the side of the bank here, and we run it all the way up to the other end. It comes out up there. We take that hose and we move it from one PVC pipe to the other, and that flood irrigates. There's our little pump. Pumps out of this pipe right here. We run that pipe inside the other and it runs to the bottom. I'm going to walk up here and I'm going to tell y'all something that happened the other day. See this creek right here? This creek, when it's running, it goes through them rocks right there and it filters into our pond over there. Now, our pond's kind of low. Normally when the creek's running, it's all the way up to that lipper line right there when the creek is running. So we can't irrigate a lot. So when the creek's running, we can water our crops. Well, me and 4 guys or 5 guys was all talking about this creek. As soon as the creek starts running one morning, we're going to start irrigating. It was around 3 o'clock one day. The next morning when we got out here, this was about 2 weeks ago, the creek was running. It ran for 3 straight days, and none of us, it hasn't rained in 7 days. For 3 straight days, this creek run, filled that pond up. We flooded all the potato garden, and we flooded all the gardens. For 3 straight days, 6 hours a day, we pumped out of that hole. And then the day we quit pumping and the creek dried up, and it's rained twice since then, and it still ain't running. So it was a gift from God. That's all I can say. Nobody else can explain it. There's a few more gifts from God that we could tell you. We'll be back. Alright, we're down here at George's. At the very beginning when we made the first videos of the River Otter videos, we filmed this garden. It's come a long ways. I believe we've probably got at least in mulch, old mulch, probably at least 8 to 10 loads of mulch. We built this bed up pretty high, worked real hard on it. I want to explain to you how he planted different than some of the other garden. He did this garden where he's got the beans and the corn and the squash all together, but he's got them to where you can reach in from the sides on each side, from that side to this side, and pick everything as much as you can. Just step in one time. So he's using a lot of square footage, and so far it's doing real well. The flowers are on the squash is doing good. That's why we got our bees. If you look under here, you can see the squash. The squash is already here. We got another one down here coming. So I just wanted to show you his garden here in the River Otters. Now over here he's got his carrots. He's got all these other vegetables in here. I don't know exactly what they are. So now the orange net, if you have chickens, if you put that orange net or you put something up there around the top, it'll keep your chickens out. Make sure it don't have a pipe or a stop. You can even put a piece of barbed wire. It helps. Here's these onions. Tomato. Now this garden over here on this side, these potatoes, was last year. We left them from one year to the next. We didn't even harvest them. We harvested everything out of this other garden. If you look at it, we went in and took dirt and kind of covered up the potatoes that you could see. But you see it's coming back real well. This is his grapevines. He's trying to get his grapevines to grow, but we're having a hard time with grapevines. I don't know why. But there it is. We're out of here. This video right here is just to show people what you can plant in the woods and kind of plant in your yard. You can plant it in your flower beds. Nobody would know what it is. They look like elephant ears to everybody. But we're going to show you, we're going to dig up the roots of these and show you what's down here. These are called, like, I believe, toros. These over here are called names. Okay? They're a little bit bigger leaf, a little taller. You can plant these in your flower bed and they produce a potato. That is one there. That's 8 pounds. They produce, it's white. and it tastes almost like Irish potatoes. And you can plant these in bottoms, the creek bottoms. If you're in a housing development where you're deed restricted, you could jog up and down the bike trails, and you could plant you an area in the woods of toros, and in an area of names, and they would blend right in because these things grow in the shade. They don't have to have much sun. They've got big leaves, so they grow in the shade. We're going to dig one of these up, and we're going to show you what's underneath it in a minute here. But this is something you can plant in the woods, plant in your neighborhood, plant in your flower bed, and it'll feed you whenever you want it. You can dig up potatoes like that. Okay, we're back. These are the names, and we've dug out around here, and we show you the white roots. And you see that little sprout right over here? They sprout up, and every time they shoot a sprout up, there's another one on this corner there, and there's one in between it. Everywhere that white root goes, it shoots a sprout up. And everywhere there's a sprout, there's at least one potato, if not two. We're not for 100% sure how many is there, but at least one at every sprout. And here's some more over here. They're sprouting over here all around. They're spreading out. I believe by the time this summer's over, this whole bed will be covered right here from one side to the other. And this is the names. You can go down to Publix or any grocery store and look into one of the areas there in the produce area, and you'll find these names. Peel you one, eat it, taste, and wedge it out, and fry it, deep fry it, put some salt on it, and taste it. They're not too bad. You can even chop them up and put them in stews and stuff, and they're real good. But they grow real easy. They grow in the shade. You can grow them in your housing developments. You can grow them in your yard. You can grow them in the woods. There's no reason why you can't go out and plant a few of these. All you have to do is take one of these, buy it at the grocery store, plant them in the ground. They grow them. They come out. It takes a little while, but it comes up.
Much smaller one than that.
And get the smaller ones. When you buy them, get real small ones. That makes more plants.
Smallest you can find.
Okay, these are the toros. If I say it wrong, I'm a redneck. You can tell by just listening to me. So, this is the little toros. They grow smaller potatoes. They probably grow them about as big as your fist, but they grow them real fast. How many did you say was on there?
There's 9 here.
There's 9 of them. We planted one
last year.
And they multiply real good. If you notice, the ones in the real direct sunlight, a lot of sunlight, it looks like the leaves are smaller.
Oh, there's different type of potato.
Right.
There's a sweet potato growing out from between them. Find out.
But this is just something we found out we're learning. We're just going to share it with you. Out of here.